Zwerner was shot in front of those horrified kids, and this school and community are living the nightmare. All because the school administration failed to act. Were they not so paralyzed by apathy, they could have prevented this tragedy.
That's Diane Toscano. She is the attorney for Abby Zwerner. She was a teacher who was shot by her student. Her student was 6 years old. 6. Unbelievable development in this case. And now authorities have come out and said, listen, we're not going to prosecute the 6-year-old for this. Why? Because he's 6. But I want you to listen to more of what Diane Toscano had to say, because she outlines a scenario where it seems like this was extremely preventable. So the question is, should someone else be charged criminally for what happened to Abby Zwerner inside that classroom? Take a listen.
Abby Zwerner is the best of us, an optimistic, dedicated, and caring elementary school teacher who endured the unthinkable, being shot purposely by a 6-year-old student in front of her first grade class while teaching. See, Abby and these other teachers at Richneck Elementary School tried to do the right thing on January 6th, the day of the shooting. On that day, over the course of a few hours, 3 different times, 3 times, school administration was warned by concerned teachers and employees that the boy had a gun on him at the school and was threatening people. But the administration could not be bothered. This tragedy was entirely preventable if the school administrators responsible for school safety had done their part and taken action when they had knowledge of imminent danger. But instead, they failed to act and Abby was shot. When the first incident of the day happened, at around 11:15 to 11:30 a.m., Abby went to a school administrator, as was protocol, to tell them that the 6-year-old had threatened to beat up another child that same day. But the school administration could not be bothered. They didn't call security, they didn't remove the student from the classroom, the school administration failed to act. Later on, around 12:30 p.m., when another teacher went to a school administrator, as was protocol, and told the administrator that she, the teacher, took it upon herself to search the book bag of the boy that was suspected to have brought the gun to school. The teacher then tells that same administrator that she believes the boy put the gun in his pocket before going outside for recess. But the administration could not be bothered. The administrator downplayed the report from the teacher and the possibility of a gun, saying, and I quote, "Well, he has little pockets." This is outrageous. Given the opportunity to call the police over a report of a potentially armed student, the school administrator failed to act and protect the school. Shortly after 1 p.m., when a third teacher tells administrators of another boy who is crying and fearful, that he bravely confesses to his teacher that the perpetrator showed him the gun at recess and threatened to shoot him if he told anybody. What did administrators do? Did administrators call the police? No. Did administrators lock down the school? No. Did the administrators evacuate the building? No. Did they confront the student? No. When a fourth employee who heard about the danger asked the administrator for permission to search the boy, he was denied. He was told to wait the situation out because the school day was almost over.
This shouldn't have happened. It should not have happened. Let me walk you through this one more time so you understand what happened here to this teacher. Okay, Abby Zwerner went to the school administrator saying that the student threatened to beat up another student, all right? We've got a problem here, folks. Then another teacher went to the administrator and told them she searched the student's backpack for a gun. Okay, maybe a little light bulb over the head. Maybe it shouldn't have to come down to a teacher looking for a gun. If we're looking for a gun, maybe we need to make a call. Maybe we need to make a call. A third teacher, this is unbelievable, told the administrator a child told them the student showed them the gun. Now we're not believing our own kids. Like, you see something, say something. I've seen kids get suspended for making a gun thing with their fingers, getting suspended. I've covered that story more than once. Here we're telling them, listen, he showed me a gun. And then Abby was shot in her classroom. Let me bring back in the think tank, Al Wunsch, Darnell Crossland, Jennifer Brandt. I don't know how this 6-year-old got this gun. I would think that there should be some criminal liability here. Al, are you seeing criminal liability, like extreme negligence? By whom?
First off, the parents. The fact that the kid was able to get a gun, okay, and that the gun was loaded and that the gun was put into a position where it could be fired. So obviously the safety was off, because I don't think a kid at 6 is going to know how to remove a safety, and takes enough pull to be able to fire a handgun. That I think the parents are the key people on this that need to be punished. The school aspect, there's a problem with that. I definitely agree with you that there's negligence. I don't know if there's necessarily criminal negligence, but there certainly is a form of negligence that needs to be examined on that. The problem is that, quite frankly, under workers' comp laws, the victim can't sue her employer. So it's not going to really matter what the negligence was of the school. It's not going to help her with any type of a lawsuit that she would have.
That's unbelievable.
Or anything along those lines.
That's unbelievable that you're teaching 6-year-olds and part of your workers' comp claim is I got shot by one of the students. Darnell,
you know what? Unfortunately, it happens all the time. Beating up teachers happens a lot, Vinny.
Yeah. 6-year-olds, though, 6. I mean, Darnell, I understand why we don't charge a 6-year-old. I get it. I understand it. There's a line that we got to draw somewhere. Clearly, a 6-year-old would be under that line. But are we going to have a school shooting and no crime occurred?
Well, yeah. People don't understand, as you just alluded to, kids or juveniles can't commit crimes. That's a legal theory, right? They commit delinquent acts, and they're treated differently. This particular case, if you're looking first for a shooter, you're saying, did he have intent? And as the police chief, I think, said at the press conference, we don't know what was in that little kid's mind. That's what analysis starts. What was in his mind? And so if we can't formulate the intent, then that's a part of the mens rea for every crime, right? You have to have the mens rea, the actus rea. So we're struggling with the mens rea. We got the actus rea, and then secondarily speaking, when it comes to a quote unquote negligence, I don't think that the school should be let off the hook. I think that there was enough alarms rang here that they had a duty to protect those people in that school. I mean, we know.
To what level, though? To what level? To me, civil liability would be, if it wasn't for workers' comp, would be automatic. But to what level? Enough that someone should be criminally charged? Because that's what I'm talking about here tonight.
No, I think
not enough for a crime. So who?
No, I think
okay, so we've got a school shooting with no crime being committed. Is that what we're saying tonight?
Yes, unfortunately.
Wow.
Unfortunately, that's what we're saying.
Wow. Did you hear that? Jennifer Brandt, you're shaking your head.
I think, Vinny, first the parents. I agree with Al. The parents is the starting point here. They had a gun in the house. This was a very troubled child. So troubled, in fact, that they were supposed to accompany this child to school. And for whatever reason, they weren't there that particular day. So you have a very sick kid in the household. Why do you have a gun there? Why is the kid able to access the gun? The mom said it was on the top of her closet, but obviously the kid knew how to get to this gun, how to use the gun. It shouldn't be in the house. So I think the parents number one, should be held criminally responsible.
Because, you know, we're covering
Yes.
that case out of Michigan involving the Oxford school shooter. His parents have been charged.
Yep.
We covered the appellate arguments. We'll see what the appellate court does with that. But that seems to be where we're moving now in some of these school shooting cases.
Absolutely, especially when you know, Vinny, these people knew this kid had a lot of problems. This wasn't a random thing. This kid was a sick child, and their gun shouldn't be there in the house that he can access. I understand rights to guns, but not in this particular situation. Secondly, I also think the school, I mean, they knew about it. They were told many, many times. Again, this was a child that had a lot of troubles. A child that this wasn't just some random child in the classroom. This is someone who had been identified to have a lot of issues and problems.
And you've got a child saying, this student showed me a gun. And is it that level of criminal recklessness when you're running a school and you've got information that a child said the gun was shown to another student, and you don't take the action that is necessary to stop this from happening?
I mean, Vinny, but no, Darnell, because if you blame police officers and law enforcement for not getting into schools fast enough. You know, there's been cases about that. We've seen these school shootings. You gotta really crack down on this. And I think, you know, the school, they knew that this was a potential issue, and especially that day, how many times were they alerted about the situation? They should have acted on it. It could have prevented this injury from ever happening. And I think we need to be harder on everyone surrounding these situations in order to prevent these things.
Still not criminal. And I'll just say this briefly. Connecticut, as we speak, this week, before the House Judiciary is debating two laws with guns, whether we can continue to open carry because we can, or conceal. And the other part of the bill is whether there should be a storage requirement. And so you could be held liable if your gun is not stored properly. And so I think when I agree with Jen and Al, if there's any criminal liability, it should go on the parents. But then we have to know, does their state require a storage liability? And if they did, and they didn't have it stored, then you start building from there.
All right. Think Tank staying with us. We've got more to get to. The Black Swan murder trial up next.